Hello, it is Monday and welcome to a new weekly reading vlog. Well, today we are starting this reading vlog off not that great. My hair just washed, ignore it. We had to make the decision to take Gala to the vet today. So yeah, just to let you know that that's her away. And yeah, the vet was in agreement, like, we've tried everything, we've tried more than everything, we've tried, like, there's nothing, she would just be suffering, hanging on. So we made the decision today, and that's her away. So Kay's currently banging about in the kitchen doing tidying, cleaning, stuff like that to keep herself distracted. And I just wanted to start this vlog before I forgot again. Reading wise, I haven't started anything. I'm like 198 pages into Lord of Shadows, which is not a great amount into it. It's only this much into it. And obviously I still have like Lady Midnight, what's it called? Queen of Fear and Darkness, which is 880 pages, so that's quite a good chunk. Yeah, I'm just looking at it like I'm insane. I need to pick a physical read out of my box because I've got that on audio, I've got other books on ebook, so I like to pick a physical read as well. So yeah, I'll decide what I'm reading later. I've yet to start At First Bite properly on my Kindle, but that's what's on my Kindle at the moment. I do have it here, but I have the Kindle edition, so it's easier for me to hold with my hands. I do only have 4 physical reads, and I'm not sure I'm in the mood for any of them right now, but we will see. I could just read my Kindle, to be fair. And yeah, I have nothing else really to do today, so it'll just be trying to chill and read and just see how we are. Yeah, that's long enough for that depressing clip, so I'm gonna head off. Hello, I'm very stressed right now. It is still Monday, and just the day's been a day. The day's being a day. I've not read a single page, a single word. Not a word has been read. It is now 12:15. I should already be in bed because I'm getting up early to go to the safari park with my mum. And we are stopping off in Sterling Mills. We're supposed to be, so the plan is I go pick up my mum and brother and sister, drive through to Sterling Mills so mum can go shopping for, just grab a few things for them for school. And then we nip through to the safari park for 12, which is, you know, the time we agreed to book. Except I've just had an epiphany that I don't remember clicking a time. I don't remember clicking 12 o'clock. Because what I'd done was I'd gone in earlier, like before we decided what time we were going, just to check the form, see how much the tickets were. Closed that webpage, like just closed the internet on my phone. Spoke to my mum, decided on a time later on. Then gone back in, finished filling the form out, and paid for it and everything. And yeah, it's only just occurred to me now that I've not booked it for 12, I've booked it for 10:30. Which is obviously an hour and a half earlier than I meant to book it for. So I'm not happy about that. I'm really annoyed with myself. I've emailed them to be like, can I please change this because I'm an idiot. The thing says like they don't do any exchanges. I'm hoping, since it's the same date and there's still spaces available, that they'll just let us shift around. I'm hoping that's okay. But of course the automatic email comes back and it says, we get back to you in 2 to 3 business days. Fantastic, because we're coming tomorrow. Amazing. I'm so annoyed at myself right now. Like, start of the day, like, it's been a day. We had, obviously, Gala to the vet, and then I've done this. I've gone and done this, which is just amazing. Yeah, I've not read anything either. I might just phone them in the morning. Don't know when the office opens though. I should better check the times. Such an idiot, honestly. I'm so mad. I'm so mad at myself. Like, you had one job, but I was trying to do it tired. Great, I'm gonna go to bed. So I've just been at the Bird of Prey show, which was amazing, and so far today I've been clipped by a long-eared owl, clipped by a vulture, hooded vulture, named Kevin, the owl's called Hades, and saved from a face full of chicken by a very skilled kite that literally spun itself on its back to catch said flying chicken. So yeah, I was literally looking straight up and I could see it coming right down towards my face, and he just like turned and grabbed it. It was amazing. But yeah, the flying they do nowadays at the safari park, they're really flying them like close to your head, like really flying them close to your heads. Anyway, I'm going to find my mum and brother and sister and go to the sea lion show. I don't think I said, me and my mum and brother and sister are going to are at the safari park today for the day. Nobody speak to me for like 3 to 5 business days, because that's how long I'm going to be out after the day I've had. It was a great day, don't get me wrong, it was a great day, but oh my god. So just to run down my day, you'll have seen earlier that I was at the safari park. So me and my mum and my little brother and sister decided to go to the safari park today. We booked it like yesterday. I told you about that when I thought I'd booked the wrong thing. It was fine. The time you book is just you can't arrive before then, but you can arrive after then. So it was totally fine. So I got up at 8 o'clock in the morning, well, 8:15ish in the morning. I drove to my mum's. Well, I got ready, obviously. I drove to my mum's, I picked them up. I drove through to Sterling Mills, which is like a, what's the word? It's like a shopping thing, but it's like outlet. It's an outlet place. And I went into, so we were in the Nike shop looking for stuff for Josh for school, my little brother, and I also went, as we were walking in, I saw there was the Works and I was like, peace out, I'll see you later. So I went to the Works, found nothing. Found both books that Bobby was looking for the other day when we were in Aberdeen. Both books that they didn't have in Aberdeen, that they did have in Stirling, which is hilarious. And sent her photos of that and she was like, typical. So got nothing in the Works. And then as I was walking back, I saw a beauty outlet place. And so I went in to see if they had any perfumes and came out with this. And I think it's a dupe for something. But it's very, very nice. I like it a lot. I did spray the tester, obviously I tried the testers, but I sprayed the tester on my skin because there's something they put in some perfumes that I'm allergic to. So it was good to know whether or not I was allergic to it. I sprayed it here. As you can see, I have no allergic reaction at all. So I got myself a new perfume. £6. £6 for a 100ml bottle of perfume. It's actually really pretty. I'll show you the bottle. Okay, that took far too long to get into that plastic. Is there a little door on it? No, okay. I'm just feeling weird things. So this is the bottle. It is a very nice perfume. It's nice and sweet, which is what I was looking for. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It's very, very nice. So got me a new perfume. And then I went to the next door, had a look to see if they had any of the shoes I like from Nike. They did not. And so then we got Josh's stuff and headed out to the safari park. And then while at the safari park, so we went in and immediately I was like, I want to go to a Bird of Prey show. So there was one not long after we got there. So Josh and Amy didn't want to go, my little brother and sister didn't want to go. So my mum went with them to go do other stuff and I went to the bird show. I was like, you don't need to come with me, like I can do it on my own, it's fine. So I went to the bird show and I saw like, oh my god, the birds were so cool. It was so cool. They had a kookaburra and then a long-eared owl and then a hooded vulture named Kevin. The owl was called Hades and the kookaburra, what was her name? I can't remember the kookaburra's name. I was too focused on the fact that she was doing the thing into the mic. And then they had 4 kites come out. 4 yellow-billed kites. And they were amazing. They were just free flying. They weren't doing like show flying with them. But he had like a little, not catapult, but like, what's it called? You know, the things. and he was like using it to shoot food into the air for them because they fly higher than he can throw. And there was literally like the chicken, like the bit raw chicken that he thingied into the air was coming down. I could see it, like I was looking up and I could see it. It was going to hit me, and this kite like flew in, turned on its back, grabbed it in midair, and turned back round again. It was incredible. These birds are, oh my god, I love birds of prey. I love birds of prey. I would love to work with birds of prey. Like, how do I qualify to do that? Because I would love to do that so much. So we did that, and then I did that. I went to the bird of prey show, and then I went and found them at the sea lion enclosure because it was time for the sea lion show. And then we watched the sea lion show, and then I had a wee quick look at the stuff that was there, and then we went across to the, where did we go? Oh no, that's a lie. When we first got there, we didn't go straight to the birds. We went round through the lions and the monkeys and the like deer and stuff like that, and the rhinos. And then I went to the bird show. After the sea lions, I went along to where the train is for Chimpanzee Island, because they don't have a boat anymore. They have a train that goes around, so we went on the train. And it's not as interesting as the boat. The boat used to give you a lot more information, and it was nice to be on the water, but the train was alright. It was in shade, so that was nice. And we had a look at the giraffes and the lions on the other side. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And then we went on the pedals. We got stuck. We had to be rescued on the pedals, because my little brother won't listen before he does stuff. So, oh my god, by the time I got off the pedal, I was dead. Like, my legs were actually dead. Hi. She's kicking at me. And then we went through Lemurland. And then we went back to the car. As we went back to the car, we were kind of struggling. We were just like stragglers at the end of the day, because they were just closing. And they were bringing in the animals that needed brought in. So they were bringing in the lions. And we walked past, and they were literally at the window of the enclosure. Like, one of the keepers like went like that on the window, and the lion like thingied it. I was like, oh, that was a promise. Not even a threat, that was a promise. Hamish is here to say hi and cause chaos. What are you grunting at? Got your butt. I got your butt. That you. Apparently we're doing this now. So yeah, we saw the lions really close, and then turned round, and the zebras are like just at the window of their enclosure. So we got some really good photos of the zebras as well. And then walked back, got in the car, drove to Sainsbury's to get something to drink. Oh my god, that Sainsbury's is so poorly laid out. I hate it. Are you okay there? Yeah, I managed to get a snack in Sainsbury's because I was really like struggling. I was hangry. That was Hamish's ear right in front of the camera. As you can see, you make a better door than a window, sweet boy. You make a better door than a window. You do. You do. Oh. Sorry, I don't know if you made this funny or not. I'm just patting his butt. The nose. Yeah, and then we came home. Dropped Mum and that off, and then came home. And he was ready for me when I got home, which was nice now, because I'll be playing games and it's just me and Hamish, isn't it? It's just me and Hamish. Oh. It's just me and Hamish. I am going to get up in a second, and who's that? Who's that? Who's that? This may be my favourite bit of the vlog. Hamish, who's this? Is that? No, you're not getting me with that again. Shut up. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm going to get changed. I'm going to get into jammies because I am. Who you buying? Who you buying? Eh? Who you buying? Yeah, I'm exhausted. I am done. Like I said, I'm going to be out for like several days after this. And it's just me and Hamish. So I'm going to go get changed. My jammies are here, but I need to put on like several inches of Voltarol, like thick, and then I'm just going to relax got some YouTube videos to watch. I need to catch up on my reading because obviously I've not read. Actually, that's a lie. I read some of. I took my Kindle because of course I did, and so I read some of At First Spite while I was waiting for Josh to. That was rude, Hamish. While I was waiting for Josh to try on his clothes and decide on things. So I did read a little bit of At First Bite, but not nearly enough. Stop it. Don't nudge things. Not nearly enough to catch up to what I need to read in a day. Don't knock things over. Don't knock things over. You see it? What's this? Look. What's this? What's this? You see teethers? You show them teethers? Oh, teethers! Oh my goodness. And that nose. The nose. If you're wondering if you can see the cloudiness in his eyes, he has cataracts, which he's had since he was born. They don't really affect him very much. And the operation to get them taken out is scary. So we've decided not to do it because he does fine on his own. But that's what that is, he has cataracts. And it, like I say, had them since birth. They've not getting bigger. We monitored them to decide if we take them out, and they're stable. So we're just leaving them. He's now 12. Are you 12? Big 12. Anyway, what was I saying? I need to read more, is basically what I'm saying. So I'm going to go get changed, cover myself in Voltarol, and chill out for a little bit. I've forgotten all the chaos with Hamish. I forgot to say. I did 11,112 steps before I took this watch off when I got home. I'm going to be dead. Literally, I'm going to be dead. And also, I don't know if you can see, but I am very, very red. I've been putting After Sun on. I got After Sun. I did not put, what's it called? Sun cream on. No. I have sun cream that I could have put on. I did not put it on because it was meant to be overcast. And I know you should put stuff on if it's overcast anyway. But my brain was like, it'll be fine, it'll be cloudy. No, it was streaming wall-to-wall sunshine the whole time. So yeah, I've been putting After Sun on. And I've also moisturised my face to hope that, like, if I'm red, that's fine, but hopefully I don't get, like, sore. That's what I don't want, is to get sore. So don't be an idiot like me. Just put the sunscreen on. Just put it on. Hello, it is Wednesday. And I feel so much worse today than I thought I would. I'm like weepy because I'm so tired and so sore. I'm not long woken up from a nap. I wanted to watch the eclipse. So I set an alarm so I could wake up from a nap. And the eclipse was very lackluster. It's still going on. It was so boring because here we have cloud coverage. So you can't actually see the eclipse. It's just because it's just diffusing the light across the sun. I'm basically just sitting here now eating love hearts because I can. I've only got 2 packets left after this. And nearly a single pink one. Scammed, honestly. Scammed. I started reading Mrs. Grimm's War the other day. But I picked it up again. And read a chapter and like a half. Before 2 chapters and a half before I had to stop because my eyes were starting to cross because I was so tired. So I've had my nap. It was not making sense either, but I was like, it's interesting me and I want to read it. So, but it's so interesting to me and I want to read it, so I will be reading it. It's good because by this time in the previous Celia Ree's novel, Pirates, I was not enjoying myself. I was bored. I was bored about what she was doing. This one I'm not bored. I'm now further into Lord of Shadows. I'm in fact 252 pages into Lord of Shadows. I tell you, it's very hard to eat sweets and talk at the same time. I don't know why I decided to do this right now. I honestly, the amount of stuff that I can't remember. I know the first time I read this I wasn't so keen on it, but the things that I can't remember are absolutely insane. absolutely insane. I'm so glad I'm doing this reread because I feel like especially this series will be very important to the new series because the new series follows the younger Blackthorns. So we've got Drew, Ty. I don't know if Tavi. Obviously Kit. I don't know if it'll follow Julian and Emma and Clary and Jason. So, but like it's. I know that like Ty and Kit are really important to the new series. So, and Drew. I've seen stuff about Drew as well. By the way, see in the first book when it says about how our aunt called her a butter bottle, I was like, I'm gonna fight somebody's 90-year-old aunt. It's not even real. But something just happened in the book as well. Right, so we're going to Lord of Shadows. Something's just happened. Totally not unrelated. But something's just happened to a character who's not one of the main characters. He's barely even a side character. And I am deeply upset. I am deeply upset, which is hilarious because he's a character from the Shadowhunter Academy book, the short stories. He's in that, and I did not like him until the end. Then, like, he grows, you know, as a person, kind of. And now, this happens. Why? Why? That's so unfair. Anyway, what am I talking about? I'm talking nonsense. I need to take my meds. That's what I need to do. I need to take my meds. I need to finish watching YouTube videos. I think I might listen to my audiobook because my eyes are just not having it with how tired I am. And it's not even, like I say, I've had a nap. I had a full night's sleep. I'm just exhausted down to my bones. I am a little... I'll take my glasses off so you can see. I am a little bit tomatoey today. A little bit red in the face today. But as you can see, I'm very shiny because I've been keeping up with putting moisturiser and after sun on. Same on my arms. This is the worst bit of my arm. It's like this bit here. So I've been putting like after sun and moisturiser on, so my skin's never like dry. It's been like I've been keeping a touch on it, and whenever it starts to feel like dry, I'll just put more moisturiser on. Hopefully that'll help. The plan was to stay hydrated today, but I think I've had 2 cups of tea. I've not finished my water bottle yet, and I've had a warm Red Bull. So yeah, I'll probably need to do more hydration. Probably need to do some more hydration. Anyway, I'm gonna go finish my hearts and speak to you later. Hello, it is Wednesday? Thursday? Thursday. It's Thursday. Don't even talk to me about my hair right now. Don't even start. It is 26 degrees last time I checked. It is like, my house is like an oven. And there's no, like, everything's still outside. There's not really a breeze. I've got the fan on. It's too warm. It's too warm. And I can't have my hair touching me right now. I just need it to be somewhere that's not touching me. So that's what we're dealing with right now. 27 degrees according to Kay's thing. I was talking about the thermometer. Last time I checked it was 26. I didn't check. Yeah, it's like we're getting up there. We're getting up there. I received another Waterstones package, so I wanted to bag it. Really, this should be, I think, Secrets of the First School. I think. Yes, it is. This is the last book in this series. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sad that, one, I didn't get the hardbacks of all these books because I saw them and I was like, and I didn't go for it. Why is it always, the paperbacks always have these creases right at the corners? Like, what do they do with them? So yes, this is the Secrets of the First School. Secret. Why can't I say that word? Secrets of the First School. This is the 5th and final book in this series. I adore this series so much. It is called the Edinburgh Nights series, and it is I think you would call it YA fantasy. It's about Ropa, who's a ghost talker. I'm not sure where that splits because it's one word, but I'm not sure where you emphasise. and she lives with her gran and her sister in a slum caravan site in, it's not even like a site, it's just where people, like, they live in a caravan on this site, and it is set in Edinburgh, as you can imagine. It's a dystopian, I don't know if it's dystopian future Edinburgh. I think there are things that point to it being a dystopian future Edinburgh. And magic is real. There are different magic groups. So there's Scottish magic, there's English magic. Ropa is mixed race, so she is she mixed? I think she's definitely Zimbabwean and Scottish. I'm not sure if she's mixed race or not. That she just uses mixed magic. I don't know where I pulled that of. So she uses the Zimbabwean magic that has been passed down from her grandmother and her mother, and she gets embroiled in the British magic groups. It's fantastic. I cannot explain how good this book is. This series is. Tail Hoochoo is a genius, frankly, and yeah, I absolutely adore it. I absolutely adore the series. It is fantastic. It doesn't, like, it's, although it's YA, it doesn't hold back. I say it's YA again. I'm not sure where that where the transition is, but I believe it's YA, and it like, I would give this to my little brother and sister quite happily, but it's still got enough complex ideas in it that it's not too simple. That makes sense? I don't know. It's a fantastic piece of work, and I am both very sad that it's over, but very excited to have the last book. So this is going straight on my TBR. This has already been, like, on my TBR since I knew it was coming out, so I'm very excited, and I will hopefully get to it soon. Hello, it is 8 o'clock at night, and it's still 26 degrees. Hamish can attest, he's just been outside. Okay. He's not participating apparently. Yeah. It is 26 degrees. And there's still not, but like, I'm looking at the bushes outside and nothing's moving. It's just so still. Hamish has just been outside, so he's come in and I touched his back and he's roasting. It's not even like the sun's going down, so it's not like full sun blast. It's just like being cooked in an oven all day level warm. So that's fun. I think I might be in a slump. And here's why. So I've got this on my Kindle, but I keep track of my physical book, and this is how much I've managed to read of this on my Kindle over the past wee while. And then I am only this far. That's a decent job. That's almost halfway. But this is how far I am in an audiobook, right? Just because I've not been feeling up to listening to an audiobook. And then this is the book I'm currently actively reading physically, and I'm 74 pages into this, and I can't even tell you how many times I've picked this up and put this down, and picked this up and put this down, picked up, put this down. And it's not because I'm not interested in it. I am very much interested in it. I'm loving this so far. We've got Miss Graham, Edith, who we see in 1989, and she has made the decision to go to Switzerland to end her life, and she has some guilt associated with things she did in the past to do with the Second World War, but we don't get to find out what they are. And then we jump back to in 1945 at New Year, going into 1946, where she is recruited by the government, or a section of the government, to go to Germany and teach and help rebuild, but she's also been asked, not quite outright, but basically she's twigged onto the fact that they kind of want her to spy for them, and she's like, okay, I wonder what this is all about. And as she's gradually finding out more, because she's only just found out, like, at this point, she's only just found out about the death camps and things like that, like Auschwitz, and things. So she's only just found this out. The public are only just starting to find these things out, and the Nuremberg trials have yet to commence, and they are still looking for some of the Nazis that have gone on the run. That's just historical at that point. And this is very interesting. The writing is very compelling. I want to know more. Like, she's just, the author, she's just dropping in little interesting bits and then not explaining them, but not in a way that's frustrating, in a way that's like, oh, tell me more, like, please, like, tell me, I'm interested. It's keeping the momentum going, because I know that some, like, especially since we have the 1989 section, before we go into this, you know that something happens, but you don't know what happens, or why it happens, or who's involved, because she doesn't name names, she just says, like, they, or she, or he, and so you don't know what happens, and it's compelling, it's interesting, but for some reason I can only read a little bit at a time, and then I'm just wanting to put it down. I don't know if it's because I can't focus, because I'm too hot, or because I'm too sore, because oh my god, am I in pain right now. I've taken my meds, I've taken extra meds, like emergency meds. I am struggling to hold this book. I just realised it does say on the back, sister, daughter, friend, spy. So obviously it's a spy story. I didn't realise that when I picked it up. But this is really interesting, and I'm enjoying reading it, and I'm just struggling to. Again, with At First Sight, I'm only on chapter 2, but there is a prologue, and so far I'm enjoying the writing. I just can't seem to get myself to sit down and read. And then Lord of Shadows, it's what's it called? It's an audiobook, and when I'm reading it, I don't want to put it down. But again, it's that momentum to pick it up in the first place that I'm really struggling with. I've literally just been sitting watching YouTube videos all day and intermittently picking this up. But I've only read, like I say, like I'm on page 74. I think all I'd read before was the prologue, which is 9 pages. So this is what I've read today, because I just can't focus, and I don't know why. I think I might be spiralling towards a reading slump. Let's hope that's not so, but if it happens, it happens. My scalp also, like my parting, very sore. I'm less tomatoey today, and my arms have gone to like tan level, so like you can see, I don't know if you can see, but I can see the difference when it gets to where my t-shirt stopped. So yes, I've just been keeping, like I say, my face and my arms moisturised where I got the sun. Hopefully that'll help with any like redness and stuff like that. But I'm so tired. Everybody but me's had a bath today. Amy's got a bath. Kay's had a shower. I looked at her, I was like, don't even ask me to have a shower right now. Don't even do it. I can't explain to you the level of sore I am. It's not even like overtly like sharp pain, but like every muscle is throbbing, and I feel like I am just a sack of sand. Like my arms feel like they're full of sand, my legs feel like they're full of sand. Nothing really wants to do what it's told. I kind of just want to curl up and go to sleep. I would like to go and lie down in bed and just listen to my audiobook or something, but I was struggling to get comfy in bed anyway, and 2, the idea of being under covers right now in this heat is just, yeah. So me and Hamish are just chilling downstairs, or trying to chill. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have more updates, but I'm not doing great, guys. I'm not doing great, reading wise or physically, but hopefully tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll feel a little better. Hello, it is Friday, and I am thoroughly enjoying this book. I am not quite halfway through yet, but it is very, very interesting. It is, I don't know if it's indicative of a spy novel, really, because I don't read spy novels, so I couldn't really tell you, but the main character is doing some sleuthing. I wouldn't say spying because it's technically not like for the government, but she is working with a government body. That makes sense. So it's interesting. She's in Germany post World War II, literally just post World War II. It's January of 1940. Oh no, it's now February of 1946, and there's a lot going on. Like, it's one of those ones where you can't trust anybody. Like, every single person that she comes across, I don't quite trust. And she is really working, like, Edith is working really very well to keep herself, like, coming across as just someone who's, you know, just a regular person who has no idea what you're on about, while also collecting quite a lot of good information. It's really interesting. Like I say, she's not a spy, she's not been trained as a spy or anything like that. She's just been asked to do a little bit of observing, shall we say, and report back her observations. I did something funny with my hair earlier, we're not going to talk about it. One thing I also really like about this book is that, so like I said, this is post-World War II Germany. They're in the British zone, and so there's various parts of the government that are still trying to find Nazis that have gone on the run, and there's reporters and stuff like that. And so there's various levels of the Germans that she comes across who may or may not have been followers of the Nazi Party. Again, that's something that we're trying to get to the bottom of, sort of thing. And at the same time, so if there's one thing that I noticed in a lot of these novels, and they're novels, so it's very, you know, your prerogative to make your characters the best of people that you're talking about. But normally, you know, normally the books I read, to be fair, are Kay's making pasta. Normally the books that you read, you know, it's during the war and everybody's like, yeah, we need to fight the Germans, we need to stop the Nazis, what they're doing is horrific, blah 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 blah. Totally get that, 100%. That's your, you know, and I'm thinking more of like Conan Verity, where the characters are all very not pure of heart, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they're very much like, they know they are on the side of good, they are very against what the Nazis have been doing, they value the lives of the people that are being that are being harmed by the Nazis, and it's a very, like, you know, pure, like I said, pure of heart. Gosh, all the sounds going on and the lights and everything, we're having a time. But one thing you don't often see in these, or at least I've not seen in my World War II novels that I've read, but is very true to life, is that a lot of British people were very much spewing similar rhetoric to the Nazis. And what I mean by that, so in this book you get an example of it where there are a lot of British people, there's British people that she comes into contact with who believe that the Germans that are currently suffering, you know, the just people who have been displaced from their homes, deserve what they're getting because of what their country did in the war. Now, this is including children. Children have no way of, like, making decisions for themselves. They are just heaped into whatever the adults around them are doing. So to say that they deserve it because they're Germans, they deserve to have no homes, to be sleeping outside in the winter, to be hunting for scraps of food while the British staff are being fed 4-course meals in the mess hall. Like, are they Michelin star meals? No, but they're still getting, like, they can go in at any time and have some tea and toast. You know? Have a wee cup of coffee. Whereas, like, the people that are now living on the streets because the place has been bombed to oblivion are literally starving. They're supposed to have rations, but they're not getting them. You know, she says at one point they're probably living on 600 calories a day, if they're lucky. And they don't have fuel, and they don't have all these things that they're, you know, that are just basic living necessities. And again, a lot of them are children, because obviously, you know, adults tended, the men, for example, are in the armies or the military of some sort. So, like, a lot of children are suffering, and the attitude is, well, they deserve it because they're German. And that is wildly just unbelievable. But at the same time, it's not a but, and also at the same time, you have characters who are, you know, British government workers who are out in Germany to help with rebuilding and things after the war, who are spouting anti-Semitic rhetoric, saying that Jewish people can't be trusted, or they're thieves, or there's a little Polish boy, and, you know, one of them's like, the general like consensus of like some of the people she's met is that he can't be trusted because he's Polish, and we all know they're thieves and they're miscreants and they can't be trusted, this, that and the next thing. They say the same about, there's a Jewish girl working in the Billiton house, and they're like, well, obviously she's a thief, they're all thieves. This is a girl who is literally working in their house, who you can see her numbers, like her blue tattoo, her numbers from being, and she was actually an Auschwitz because she does have a conversation with her about it. And the British girls that are billing with them are saying that it's obvious she's a thief because they're all thieves, Jewish people. They're all thieves and liars and you can't trust them. And I'm like, do you realise that you're spouting off the same rhetoric that the Germans were spouting off to justify what they were doing? Like, it's totally lost on them, apparently. Maybe she's pushing doors open. And it's mad to think that, or maybe it's not, but we are taught history, again, like history's written by the victors and all that jazz. We are taught history in the UK, or at least the way I was taught, is always from a them and us, villains and heroes type of mindset. So like, we were the valiant heroes going in and, you know, fighting the Germans who were clearly evil because of what they were doing to the Jews, the Polish, the gays, the disabled. And I'm not going to say that that's not true. However, at the same time, a lot of the population of Britain also held the same views. Like, they were anti-Semitic, they were ableist, they were homophobic, they were xenophobic. You know, to this day, there's a rhetoric around traveller communities. I couldn't think of the right word there because in this, they're in the Hitler's like manifesto and stuff, they're still referred to as the G word, which I did not know was a slur. I now know is a slur and will not be using. But like, even now to this day, and again, this will not come as a surprise to you if you're paying attention to what's going on. Like, we like to think of ourselves as like the good people, you know? And generally speaking, I think people do have a general goodness. Like, people aren't inherently evil. I think at the base of it, we all just want comfort. And yeah, if you go onto TikTok, if you go onto Hell the News, look at what's happening. Places like America were so proud that they came into the war 5 minutes before the end and saved us all from the Germans, the evil Germans, the evil Japanese, despite the fact that they had camps and stuff at the time as well, and that Hitler got a lot of his inspiration from the US and how they treated the indigenous peoples. That's a different story. But if you look at that and you look at the fact that people, like in the UK and the US, you know, currently ableism is rife, transphobia rife. There are rhetorics being spewed by people on the street, by our governments, people in power, against people who are in a position where they are, generally speaking, societally weaker. So like, trans people make up something like less than 1% of a population, and yet they are being attacked, and for what? Because they're easy to punch down at. Disabled people, we're on the chopping block. You know, if you look at debates, and I say that with quotations, you know, you look at any disabled person's page and it's always, well, if you can set up a camera, you can work. Well, if you can do this, you can work. Disabled people are just lazy. Oh, well, I'm disabled, or I know somebody who's disabled and they can work. Disabilities are totally different. Why are we looking at the most vulnerable people in society and thumping them instead of thumping billionaires who do nothing for the economy of the country apart from hoard money? Like, I, as a disabled person who can barely cover bills because of how little I get paid from disability benefits, I'm not the problem when companies as big as Amazon, I don't know if Amazon is one of them, but like large companies, worldwide companies, Amazon as an example, not saying Amazon are one of the companies, just for scalability, to give you an idea, aren't paying tax in this country. But me getting a measly £400 a month, that's a problem. Them not paying millions in tax, totally not a problem. Totally not a problem. You know, and that's it shows, like, the way we're shown history, the way we're taught history, is that we're the good guys. For World War II specifically, discussing this book, we are the good guys. We are so virtuous. Virtuous is the word I was looking for. And yet, we miss the fact that we're ignoring the fact that, you know, British people were anti-Semitic. Do you know, the UK is one of the countries, I think, I'm pretty sure, that wouldn't take Jewish refugees because of the anti-Semitic beliefs of the British people and the British government against Jews. They wouldn't take them into the country knowing that they were fleeing from literal genocide. Which, does that sound familiar to you? Does it? Does it sound familiar to you? In the year 2026, it's like we never, like, honestly, watching history repeat itself when you know history is unbelievably infuriating. And it may change, like the technologies may be different, the methodology may be different, but the patterns are unbelievably similar. And that's the thing, like, we like to think about it, like, if, like, all these people that wonder what they would do, and I've seen multiple people say this is not a quote directly from me, I've seen multiple people say this is not an original thought, but if you ever wonder what it is you would be doing during World War II, you're doing it now. And in fact, you're doing it now with more information, because at the time, so for example, this character, she finds out when she's been briefed before she goes to Germany about the death camps. The general public and a lot of, like, other people in the armies and stuff didn't know, or at least they didn't have confirmation of places like Auschwitz, Birkenau, and what they were doing there, until they rocked up and saw the devastation. Like, there's a bit that absolutely made me sick to my stomach in this, and they've not even clicked it. It actually made my stomach roil, where they're looking at photos they've just found, and she's like looking at it going, it looks like weird, it's blurry, so they're not quite sure that these SS officers are standing over what looks like a pit with loads of logs just thrown in. And I'm like, oh my, like, I know, because she can't see it properly because the photo's blurry and it's older and she's pulled it out of a fire. She doesn't know what she's looking at. I know what she's looking at. I know she's not looking at logs. I know she's looking at bodies. I know she's looking at people from the camps who have been put into mass graves. She doesn't know that. I know that, and it makes me feel sick to my stomach. And I forget my point. Like, I forget the point I was making there. Yeah, like, these people, they didn't necessarily know about the camps, the general public, and would that have made a difference? I can't tell you. You can't, retrospectively, I couldn't tell you what difference that would make. But now, in 2026, we can see people are taking footage, using their phones and posting on the internet. We can see what is happening in other countries. We can see in real time the devastation that has been put upon people. For example, the people in Palestine. We can see that they are not having any, I don't know if they're still, but I remember seeing videos of lorries of supplies of food and medical equipment backed up at the border because they wouldn't let them in. Because Israel, who controls the border, or Egypt, who controls that border, or whoever they were bordering, would not allow them into the country to help the Palestinian people who were trapped in Gaza, because it is effectively the world's largest open-air prison. And I say that with the definition of, if you are in a place that you do not have free access to come and go, especially if it is surrounded by armed guards, and your power, water, internet, food, medical access is controlled by someone, that is a prison. That is a prison. They are locked in there. We have seen the devastation that has been wrought upon them for the past few years, you know. And like, we can see it with our own eyes, what's happening. And yet there are still people who will, but what happened to trigger this event? And I can't remember what the date was. My apologies that I can't remember the date of the incident that happened at the music festival, which was unbelievably, like, I can't even, there's no words for it. It should never have happened. It should never have been an option. And that was, every single one of those people was innocent. Nobody can argue with that. I mean, some people will argue, but I am not going to say that any of them deserved what happened. Not even slightly. But to then punish an entire group for something that a few people did, and especially in a way where you are bombing hospitals because you think that somebody, like, yeah, we're watching it happen now. And yeah, it's actually, interestingly, they do talk about the Wilhelm Gustloff in this. There's a mention of the Wilhelm Gustloff, which is the boat that is in Salt to the Sea by Route of Septies. It is the largest maritime disaster, loss of life ever, I think. It was a higher death toll than the Titanic, and yet we don't learn about it. So the Wilhelm Gustloff was a ship that was getting, so as the Russians were advancing, there were ships being used to get people out of the area that the Russians were coming from. I can't remember exactly. It was in Prussia, but I can't remember exactly where it was. I think it was Prussia anyway. And so, because of wartime rules, or I don't know if it's wartime rules or just general rules, you cannot fly a Red Cross flag on your ship if there are armed soldiers on board. So because there were soldiers being ferried at the same time, the Wilhelm Gustloff could not fly a red Cross flag. And so it was aimed at by a Russian torpedo, and it was sunk, and there was ice floating on the sea. Like, it was so cold, it was winter, and thousands of people died because they were packed onto the ship like sardines. There was even, on the boat, there was a specific maternity unit on the boats, whatever the hospital part of the boat's called. Like, it was technically a hospital ship. It was there for, like, refugees and people fleeing, but because they had armed soldiers on it who were also being ferried, they couldn't put the Red Cross flag up, and so it was fair game, because you're not supposed to, it's against, like, what's the word? It's like laws that are in place for war, which seems like a wild concept to me. Like, the fact that we have, it's like, okay, you can go to war and kill thousands and millions of people, but you have to adhere to these rules. Okay, or how about we don't do the war part and we all sit down and have a chat? I know that's not how the world works, but, like, what? Why, if you're going to be attacking someone anyway, why would you not be committing war crimes? Who's stopping you? Anyway, I've gone off my train of thought now. But yeah, the Wilhelm Gustloff, if you fly a Red Cross flag, you cannot, like, it is a war crime to attack that ship. It is a war crime to attack them, and so the William Gustav should never have been attacked, but it was, and it was sunk, and it was a horrendous disaster, and it's mentioned in this book. And like I say, it is mentioned, it is the whole, this main purpose of Salt of the Sea. So in Salt of the Sea, you're following several characters, one of which is a German soldier on the boat, and I think 3 or 4 others are people who are making their way to the boat to escape. One of whom is a Polish girl, and even then she's being treated horribly by the people, and they're all fleeing the same thing. And when they find out she's Polish, they all turn on her. And it's like, you're missing the whole... Like, we are taught so much, not lies, but propaganda, that it was, you know, us good guys versus the Germans and the Italians and the Japanese, the Allies versus the... Oh, what was the word for them? I can't remember. I can never remember the word. The Allies and the... It's another A word. Anyway, we were told that it was us versus them because they were committing atrocities, and yet we did not have too much of a leg to stand on when we were also treating the people that they were being brutal. Like, just because we are just being mean about them doesn't necessarily mean that we get to be on a high horse about it, you know? I don't know. I don't know if any of that made sense, but it's just the fact, like, that I really appreciate that Celia Rees has gone, no, we're not getting away with saying we are virtuous, we are, you know, we are the angels in this scenario, we are being so lovely to, no. The Brits, the Americans, they were all still racist. And yeah. Honestly, sometimes it just beggars belief sometimes that we can get away with tweaking the truth. That's why there's always there's always 3 sides. Your side, my side, and the truth. And the British side was that we were, you know, we were the rescuers, we were the heroes, my brain is coming up with other words, Apex, Aztec, it's something in that, like, allies and the... Oh. Can't remember what it called. I'm so annoyed at myself. I can't remember this word. But, yeah. They think they were the virtuous ones. We think we were the virtuous ones. But realistically, nobody was virtuous. We were just different levels of awful. Do I think... Yes, okay, we stepped in and we said, like, no, we're not, like... But for the reasons that... Like, I question the reasons that we... Was it totally humanitarian that the UK stepped in and entered the war? Or was it about territory, possession? There was always the humanitarianism in it. But a lot of it was like, oh crap, they're coming towards us. We should probably do something about that. Anyway, sorry to be in my soapbox about this, but I'm very interested in World War II and the human condition that it kind of highlights. I'm going to go and read some more of my book. Hello, it is Saturday, and as you can see, I have finally showered my stinky self. Finally felt up to jumping in the shower today. Did I almost pass out in the shower and fall? Yeah, because I decided to stand up. I didn't sit, don't be silly like me. So I was, I have like a routine in the shower, and like a lot of the routine is around like the fact that I sit down in the shower. And today I was like, do you know what, I'm going to change my routine. And so I was standing up to wash like my body before I did my hair, and I was like, looked at my feet at one point and they were like huge and purple, and I was like, So I put one foot on the other and I could perfectly see the white outline of my feet. It was, yeah, I had to sit down eventually because I had to sit down after that because I was really dizzy. And a bit like, ooh. I've got the kitchen door open because I've opened the door for Hamish to go out to pee after having his lunch. So it's like lunchtime. But yeah, I thought I'd pop on and update you. I am now on page 230 of Miss Graham's War. If you want to say Mrs. Graham, of Miss Graham's War. I will be continuing with this hopefully, today. If you can hear that squeak, that is the washing machine. Or something like pressed up against the glass on the washing machine as it's going round. I did also last night finish Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare, and I cannot believe how much, I keep saying this about the series, but I cannot believe how much I've forgotten about the series. I'm not even watching this video. How much I've forgotten about the series and how much more I'm getting out of it now that I'm rereading it. Funnily enough, I didn't cry at the end of it. I had a little tear, but I didn't cry like I did the first time. I don't know if it's because I was expecting it. But there was another thing that happened that I cried at that I didn't cry at the first time. So that was interesting. It was a conversation that Diana had with somebody, and in that conversation, I don't have it downstairs now. In that conversation, Diana mentioned how she went to, I can't remember what. That's terrible. I can't remember which institute. Okay, I'm never going to find it. But she mentions she was at an institute, I want to say, it's in Asia. She goes to Bangkok at some point. I don't know if it's the Hong Kong Institute. I can't remember which institute it is. But she mentions that her and her sister fought hungry ghosts. They fought hungry ghosts, which I don't know if it was this vlog or a previous vlog or whatever, but one of the previous books I finished, or the one I finished before this one, is called Harbour of Hungry Ghosts, which is basically the same, the hungry ghosts they're talking about, where it's, and again, it's like that, I missed that completely. Like, I had no, when I first read that, I wouldn't have understood what a hungry ghost was, but now that I've read Harbour of Hungry Ghosts, I get a new sort of side to that mythos, and I'm so intrigued with some of the things that get added, that Cassandra has added into this. Like, I didn't appreciate how much research went into what she has written in this series, even down to like, so when I read The River She Became, that is, I think it's like Indo-Pakistani myth based on, and they don't call the Fae, they call them Peri. And in this, not in this, but in this series, not this, like in the Shadowhunter world, she mentions Fae and Peri separately because they're two different mythos. Like, these are tiny little things, but like, it's exciting to have these little things dropped in. Like, she doesn't like go into the whole thing. She just mentions it as it's part of the world. It's just part of, it just is. It's not like, oh, and I love all these little details that I missed the last time. But that does mean I now have, dun dun dun, this to read. 880 pages of Shadowhunter trauma. So yeah, I am excited for this. Again, there's so much that I missed. Because like, there's a fairy that says to Kit, it's like, I know your face. And I'm like, that seems like there's something else going on. I'm so excited. This has like beautiful, what's it called? Illustrations in it. And the funny thing is, like, I keep seeing illustrations with a blonde fairy boy, and I'm like, oh, that's Kieran. No, that's Mark. That's Mark. I forget, this is Emma, and I love that you can see the writing on Cortana. I'm Cortana of the Steel and Temper of Durandal and Joyous, I think is what it says. Just in case you're interested. But yeah, I keep seeing photos of like, or images of some kind of a blonde fairy, and I'm like, oh, that's Kieran. No, that's Mark. Kieran has dark hair. It mentions it so many times. He has black hair that changes colour. So like, this is Kieran. This is, well, I think that's Julian, but like, this is Kieran. And then Helen and Mark both have blonde hair. Oh no, that is Mark. That is Mark. I just saw the fairy ears. And Drew and Tabby. Oh, I'm so excited for the new series. So excited, because I was so frustrated by Drew in this series, because, and frustrated in a way that's like understandable. She's 13. She's like, everybody's treating me like I'm a child. I'm like, you are a child, sweetheart. You are a child. But like, yeah, it just, oh, like, my little brother's 13. You know, it's like, you think you're grown, but you're not. I remember being that age and thinking I was so grown up, and it just, you're not. You're really not, and you don't realise that until you get to like your late 20s and you're like, oh my god, I was a child. Anyway, I am going to go because that is going to be really, really loud in a second. But yeah, so I will be moving on to Queen of Air and Darkness on audio. I've got 2 more audiobooks to read. I've got Queen of Air and Darkness, which sped up to the speed that I read at is over 15 hours. It's 15 hours something. And then I've got One Medicine, which is 7 hours. So that's going to be fun. I don't know why I put this in the bottom of the pit. No, I'll take... Andy, chill out. I'm going to go upstairs and film an unboxing video for the Illumicrate editions of Heroes of Olympus, because that arrived today. So I'll take this upstairs with me now that I've told you that I've finished it. This I'll be reading later. This I've made no progress in. I still got so much to read. I'm not finishing my TBR this month. I'm not. It's not happening. But I think what I will do is focus on physical books that are on my TBR. So like this stuff and my 2 arcs that I've put in my TBR. I think that'll be the focus, and then anything else I get done will be like a bonus. But I want to get my physical TBR, like that's the main focus, is my physical TBR, and obviously my Shadow Hunter reread, but that's an audiobook, so it's not as... I'm not saying it doesn't count because it's an audiobook, like, that's not what I mean, but I don't read audiobooks in the time that I'd be sitting reading a physical book. So like, if I'm sitting here on the couch, I'm not listening to an audiobook, I'm reading a physical book, either via Kindle or by like actual pages book. I only listen to the audiobooks when I'm in a position where I can't read a physical book, so it doesn't impact how much I read physical books, if that makes sense. I feel like I look good today. I don't know if it's just the blue or what. My hair being done, the fact that I've looked like trash for the past few days, the fact that I've caught the sun a little bit and I no longer look like a tomato. Although I don't think you can see like any tan lines. So I wonder where Hamish went there. He just jumped on the couch. Anyway, I'm gonna go because this vlog's gonna be too long. Good evening / morning. It is Sunday technically. Well, I'm not going to sleep yet, so it's still Sunday. It is technically Monday, but it's Sunday for the purposes of this vlog. I've just finished Miss Grimm's War. I was reading it today on sprints, and then I just went off on a tangent watching YouTube videos and Hell's Bells, and yeah. Partially because I didn't want to read this book, because I don't know if you get this or if it's just me. It's probably not just me, there will be other people that get this, but one of the things that I tend to find with books is that when there's an air of danger, I suppose, to them, when there's a good chance that the characters that you're spending time with, you're getting to know, that you're rooting for, that something bad is going to happen to them in some way, be it you have to watch them be harmed or tortured or something like that, or they end up dead, I get so stressed out and I don't want to read the book. I want to just put it down, because I'm like, if I put it down and I don't read it, the things don't happen to them. So it's fine. But I mean, that's all in good writing. Like, I'm attached to the characters. I'm getting that air, and this book was no different. It was fantastically written. The way that she dealt with people in general after the war, the author, was fantastic. I have already covered this, but nobody in this book is trustworthy. Like, you don't ever feel like you can trust anybody, and when you do feel like you can trust someone, something happens, and you just get that sensation of, oh, but can I actually trust them? Like, are they actually trustworthy, or are they not? And I never knew where this book was going to go. It was wild. I think I did a fantastic job of dealing, like I say, with people. Again, that edge, I was never at ease reading this book. Always, like, there was an air, there was an atmosphere of tension through the whole thing. Like I say, you never know who you can trust. You never know, you know, if you're going to walk out the door and something's going to happen to you, because you don't know who to trust. Edith, Miss Graham, Edith is working in the British zone in Lubeck, is it called? It's Lubeck, but it's L-U with the 2 dots, B-E-C-K. And it's the British zone in Germany. This is before, or this is like the start of the Cold War. God, these tiny flies, they're so annoying. And so currently it's broken up into, like, there's a British zone, an American zone, a French zone, a Russian zone, blah, blah. And, like, this is before the Berlin Wall goes up. And so, this is immediately post-war. It's 1946, January 1946 it starts. And, sorry, I keep yawning. And everywhere is decimated. Like, the places, she's having to walk around, like, rubble and destroyed buildings. The people that used to live in these places where they're billeted aren't there any longer, and you don't know if they're alive in somewhere else, if they're alive in jail, if they're dead, if they're, you know, you don't know who they are. You don't know, like I say, who you can trust. The German people, not very happy that they've now been, you know, beaten in war and then invaded. Some of them still very much Nazis. Some of them very much not. It just, you don't know who is who. And even within the sort of allies, now in this point in the war, or this point in time, they're now looking towards the Cold War. They're now looking to one-up each other in terms of making, well, atomic bombs. You know, you'll find a lot of the doctors, there's one of the discussions they have, the doctors and some of the higher-ups in the Nazi regime were coveted by different countries, the Americans, the UK, because although the work they did was unspeakably atrocious, they still did medically advancing work and work that could be used against enemies. And so they wanted to recruit them to then use them, even though these are people that should, by all accounts, have swung. And not a short stop and a sudden drop. It should have been a slow one. So, you know. Or sudden drop and a short stop. I can't remember it. That's a quote from a movie that I've seen and I can't remember what it was. My brain wants to say Pirates of the Caribbean, but I think I'm wrong. But yeah, so there's factions that want them from each country, and then there's factions that want them for war crimes, and then there's factions that just want them dead from revenge. Honestly, each turn you don't know who you can trust. I love this so much. Yeah, that ending. Like, there's a bookended ending. So at the very start of this, she is in Switzerland, is it? I believe it must be Switzerland. To go to a clinic. I'm assuming it's Switzerland because I'm pretty sure Switzerland was the first place to have this. To a clinic to end her life. And so we see sort of the 1989 portion where she's sort of laying out all these photographs and mentioning people like Adeline, who was the person that took the photographs, and how she recently passed from heart failure, and how she was the only one left, and she was thinking about what she'd done and feeling guilt and feeling like all these different feelings about what happened during the war and after the war. And then we go back 40 years previous, or 40-ish years previous. 43? Wait, no. Almost 40. 1989 back to, 1946, 43 years. And then we find out what happened. Like a whole big flashback, basically. And then the last chapter, we go back to 1989 to see the tie together of the whole story. So it was very interesting in that sense. And yeah, there's discussions in this about the formation of Israel as well. and didn't hold back to say that the people who were determined to create Israel were pushing out Palestinian people. Like, there was no sort of like what's the word, like rose-coloured glasses about. Nothing in this is rose-coloured glasses. This is like harsh reality, and I really appreciate that about this book. She did not hold back. She showed the best and the worst sides of people, from every single British, American, German, Jewish, Russian. Just about everybody in this, I think, was probably morally grey. Like, there was no black and white delineation for these characters. And it was really, except maybe the character whose mind, I don't know if, like, even though she's being duplicitous, now I can't remember the word. Even though she's doing that, you understand her reasonings and why, and it's noble. Like, it's a noble thing, and she does have thoughts and judgments about, right, okay, what, like, she has to weigh the costs and balances of how comfortable she is, her morality, her ethics, and you see all that as she's going through it, and how she gets to the decisions she makes and the reasons behind that. So I don't know if I would count her as a morally grey character. I don't quite understand exactly what morally grey is, but for the other ones, like I say, you can't just feel like you can't trust anybody. I feel like everybody has, like, there's no black and white. It's very morally grey, which I think makes sense for this time. But yeah, this was a fantastic war book. I don't want to say it's World War II. It's technically, I think, within the Cold War era, but it's set through through the first 6 months of 1946, and it is reactive to what happened during the Second World War, but also going into that transition period of going into the Cold War. So yeah, fantastically researched, fantastically written. Turns out it was inspired by the author's aunt, who was basically the main character, Edith. She went to Germany after the war, to the same place, to help rebuild the education system. Yeah, that was a time. I think I maybe need, like, a fluffy romance. Maybe this is where I need to read At First Bite. What am I talking about? Because that was heavy. That was very heavy. I also need to turn my watch back on because it's now charged. Anyway, I'm going to head off to bed now. If you want to let me know you were here but you don't want to leave a long comment, if you leave me some kind of food related emoji for Edith and her cookbook. And thank you so much for watching. Please do like and subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.